showing up. Yeah. Special shout out to Tiffany. I don't know if she's on the phone today, but she's celebrating her birthday today. And we'll certainly talk about birthdays. I know, Marla, you do that when we start to end the call. So we'll get to that. Again, everybody, for those that haven't been here, thank you for attending. And we're going to see if we can kick this cruise adventure off. If you recall, the family reunion that we just held in Waco, toward the end of the session, we sort of stood up and said, hey, what are some ideas? We threw some things out there, on the parking lot to see exactly what we might want to do later on. And, I had talked with the family, and the family said, hey, let's try to introduce some of those that don't know and reintroduce those that do know to the life of cruising. Very relaxing, very invigorating. We all need time away, let that stress come down, that stress level, and just good all around vacation. And so the light bulb went off in my head and said, hey, let's throw this out there. I didn't know who had been cruising, who hadn't cruised before, and who was interested. So as time went on, Marla sort of contacted us and said, hey, that might be something good we want to look into. So we sort of started the process behind the scenes a couple months ago, 6 weeks or so ago, and said, hey, let's put this thing into full motion. So I apologize up front. My children, my two millennials, get on me all the time about overdoing it. But I was trained early on by several top Fortune companies, and they taught me never anticipate your audience understands. And never anticipate your audience has been there before. So when I send out communications, it's going to be pretty thorough. I'm human, so there may be some things that I missed, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. In case you haven't read the information, or in case you just had more questions, we'll make this precise, we'll make it concise, and we'll have fun doing it. So with that, I'll open the floor. Marla, I don't know if you're monitoring or you're what the questions have come in already. If you had some already, just throw them out there and we'll try to get them answered.
Okay, yes. The biggest question, or I guess the most asked question that I've gotten so far is if this is something that we have to plan and schedule individually. So I know hopefully each of you that are online tonight did get the very thorough documents that Hank has put together. If not, I am going to resend those this evening, all 1, 2, 3, so that way you can have that to kind of wrap up. But Hank, if you want to kind of talk about the booking process, because that has been the most asked question. Like, is this a group situation? Is this something I need to do on my own?
Got it. Well, here's the answer to the $1 million question. It was decided sort of unanimously that everybody do their own booking. And let me tell you why. We've been cruising now as a family for like 25 years. So we had one travel agent actually when we lived out in Phoenix that was very good. He was good to the family. He knew us. Unfortunately, he wasn't in business long, because when I met him, he was about 3 years out of retirement. So I only got a chance to meet and know him for 3 years, but I learned a valuable a boatload of information from him. And he actually had been in business for about 40 years as a travel agent out west. And he suggested, believe it or not, he said, travel agents, we're okay. He said, but a lot of us are in it for us, and you want somebody who's in it for you. So that's when the light bulb went off, and he suggested that from then on, I can sort of make my own reservations, mainly because, as a family, as a person, your finances, number one. Your timing, number two. If you're going to drive, if you're going to fly, if you're going to catch the train, whatever the case is, your mode of transportation. You may have a preferential hotel that you want to use. You may have a restaurant that you want to go to the day before, the night before, whatever the case is. So I suggest that we leave it up to the individual families to make their own reservations. Again, Carnival will then be liable, and there won't be a third party in between the Carnival to have to talk to, because when you sign up with a travel agent, Carnival's out of the loop. So if there's something that's missed and the travel agent didn't get it, shame on you. If there's something that the weather changed, like we just, thank God we went through this hurricane unscathed, in at least our neck of the woods. And if something like that deters cruises, and sometimes it does because they have to go around it. They won't go through it, they'll go around it, and they'll make alternate plans. So God forbid, in June, we've cruised every month probably of the year. June is one of the safest months to cruise. One of the more expensive because kids are out of school and all that good stuff, but it's one of the safest months there is to cruise in. So I don't foresee any issues with that, but I'm not I'm not Mother Nature, so I won't go into that. But long story short, Marla, we chose to have everybody do their own booking. I put on there, and I don't have the documents in front of me. I can sort of remember them. What I put on there, there's a 1-800-Carnival number, or you can certainly go online. Again, I have 2 millennials in my family. They help me online because I'm lost without them. So we did all of our booking online. We set up the payments online. And again, you can pay however you want. You can use your credit card. You can use cash. They accept all forms, and they do have a couple. And if Adrian's on, he may talk to you a little bit about that because I don't use the credit piece, but there is a payment plan that they do have, and it's extended up to 24 months. So it's a very good plan. It's that. So without having to worry about a travel agent getting all of our information, without having to worry about one single location she's trying to book or he's trying to book for 40, 50, 60 people, we decided to do individual bookings. That way you can keep up with your family. And of course, when you book, and I put this in the information also, we're going to need your booking number. We're going to need your cabin number. We're going to need the names of individuals that are cruising. We're going to need to know if you're coming the day before, you're coming the morning of, or however that case is going to be. And we're going to try to get hotels or Airbnbs, whatever we're going to try to do. We're going to try to do all that for the folks that are traveling in the day before. I do highly recommend that. Again, if you're in Texas, that may be a different story, because when we travel out of Miami or we travel out of Orlando or we travel out of Jacksonville, we go the morning of. Miami, we go the day before because Miami is about a 7-hour drive for us. So we do the day before going out of Miami. So, if you're close enough where you can make it in, I'm always leery of traffic. Again, I've lived in 10 states. Including I traveled to New York quite a bit when I was up there in New Jersey. Traffic can be, you never know. I know Houston's about like New York City traffic. It's a disaster. Atlanta, all those areas. So if you're driving, you may want to keep that into consideration. I just like to come in stress-free. I'm about stress-free at this age of my life. I want everything to be smooth. I want no hiccups or as little hiccups as possible. And I want to get a good night's rest before I get on that ship. So we're doing the day before, and our trip is about 10 and a half hour drive. So we're going to be doing certainly the day before. And, we'll have more information on that because we'll need to see if we can get group rates at hotels or whatever we're going to do. I know there's going to be some travel stuff we'll talk about later on, things like that. But everybody's on their own. We're making their cruise plans. Okay.
Thank you for that. I do want to add this before we take another question. After the call, I will be sending out just a kind of a compilation, if you will, with next steps included. I went ahead and booked my room just so that I can kind of experience it before we start sending this out. But it was very easy. One of the benefits of doing it, guys, I'm on the phone. I'm sorry, y'all. One of the benefits, though, with the person that I booked with, we do have a concierge that everyone can use, and we can all kind of connect, if you will, for those who may feel like you need one person that, knows what's going on with everything. So Carnival has assigned us a person, and that information will be included in the next steps. But as I mentioned earlier, Hank did a very, very good job in family of putting together really step by step of what you have to do. So it's just whatever you feel is you're comfortable with, the phone or internet and all of that. Also, I wanted to add, as Hank touched on, we will be sending out information on doing like a group hotel, and we'll be looking at group transportation for those who may want to do it from the Waco area. I know a lot of us are in Central Texas or North Texas, so just stay tuned for that. But that will be, in the months to come as we kind of figure out how many may take advantage of that. So,
when you say group transportation, what exactly are you talking about?
Like a chartered van or bus.
That would be very good. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
And that way we won't all have to go in and all have to pay for parking and all have to get through Houston or whatever, traffic pattern. So we'll get that
That was
information.
the point I was going to bring up. So that's wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. Who's that speaking? I'm sorry. I don't know.
I'm
Taylor.
Carolyn
Oh, hi,
Yancey
Carolyn.
Burgess.
I can't
Hi.
Burgess. Okay. Well, thank you for the comment. Okay. Did anyone else have a question on while we have our cruise specialist online?
I'll reiterate some stuff. If not, Marla.
You have the floor, Hank.
Okay, let me reiterate a couple things, and then hopefully we can generate some communication. I talked about this earlier, and I know a lot of us may or may not have these type issues. I have a special diet that I have to go by, and it helps me. I'll tell everybody. Carnival has a listening board, a sounding board, where if you do need special diets, if you're lactose, if you're, like I am, I can't do pepper, I can't do spicy food. So I have to have that specially made. Now, they don't change the menu. So if it's steak night, you get a steak, but you can tell them how you want to prepare. Lobster, you tell them how you want to prepare. If it's spaghetti night or whatever the case may be, you tell them how you want to prepare. How that works, there are two ways. When you book your cruise, you can let the person know on the other end, or you can put notes in your booking that says, hey, special diet, special medication. Pam has a CPAP machine, so she has to take the CPAP machine. She'll also have to have the still water, all that kind of stuff. They'll need to know that. So, we'll make sure that they know that. Let me mention something very, very important while I'm thinking about it. Carnival and the rest of the cruise lines have had an issue within the past year or so regarding marijuana usage. Okay. It's a big topic. It's a controversial topic. We know there's medical marijuana. We know states have ratified it. Hey, it's good to do. You can do it. Carnival looks at the United States law and they abide by the United States law. United States law says if you haven't ratified it, it's illegal. Okay, so Carnival took the stand, it's illegal. Now, I'm not a user of marijuana or medical marijuana, so I don't know how that would work. But I have been told that even a doctor's note sometimes is not passable, especially for the smokable kind. Now, there's the gummies and chewable and stuff like that may or may not be. Don't quote me because, again, I haven't gone up that ladder. But I just wanted to throw that out there because Carnival is cracking down and it is serious. There are recreational marijuana users that have been coming on the ship and people are saying they're complaining about the smell. Adults, I could care less. That's your thing. You do your thing. I'm not here to police that. That's not my mission. But my mission is to let you know that if you do partake in that kind of thing or want to do that, please don't. And here's why. They have enlisted dogs, okay? And these special trained dogs sniff out drugs, okay? And what they do now, it used to not be like this. Probably about 6 months to 8 months ago, they started this. When we come into the terminal, we all have to drop whatever carry-on bags we're going to have. We have the big bags that'll be, put with the porters, and they'll take those and they'll get them to your room after 1:30 or so in the afternoon. So anytime between 1:30 and 9 o'clock or so at night, your bags may arrive. Now, your carry-on bags, which we suggested in the writings for your medicine, for your passport, for the boarding pass, do not pack that kind of stuff. And I got a whole list in there of what not to pack. So that bag that you carry on, you're going to have to drop that and step back because they bring the dogs around to sniff those bags. And if the dog stops there, he found something that clued the agents and the agents will come and search. Okay. So we don't want that to happen to anyone. And people are being fined. The fines start at $500 and it's lifetime expulsion from Carnival if you get caught. Okay. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Hank, does that include gummies like CBD and all that stuff that's really popular right now?
Yeah,
They
you
can,
gotta
and
clear it with your doctor. You gotta clear it with Carnival if they allow it. Okay.
I'm just asking for the young folks. I
No,
don't do.
no problem. Yeah, you gotta if it's medically involved, you gotta clear that with your doctor. You gotta clear that with Carnival. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Another question that did come up, since you're kind of on the topic of boarding,
Mhm.
can you please address the passport or
Okay.
birth certificate, things that are
Yeah.
required to get on board?
Now, if it's and Adrian, correct me if I'm wrong, it's called a detail loop or something like that. But anyway, if you leave Galveston, you cruise for 5 days and you come back to Galveston, you don't have to have a passport, but passports are highly recommended because some of the islands that we stop, they do security checks, and God forbid, and I put this in bold writing in one of those writings, do not miss the ship. Okay.
Amen.
We're not on island time when we get off the ship. We're on Carnival's time, which may be totally different. We've been down to, Dominican Republic and all that. Those people sometimes are not on our time. They are several hours ahead or several hours behind, whatever the case may be. Always have your phone, clocks, watches, whatever set to Carnival time. Please remember that. And passports you will not get home if you don't have a passport in case that happens. So that's the reason why we say the passport is really, really preferred. It's expensive, yes, but if you amortize that spend, last time we bought them, ours don't expire for I think 3 years from now. But last time we bought them, they were like $140 per person. But that's for 10 years. If you're 21 and older,
Yeah.
18 and younger, it's every 5 years. So if you get a passport for your child that's 9 years old, it'll expire when he or she turns 14. Okay, up to their 21st birthday. Then it's 10 years after that. It's good for 10 years. Okay, and there's a backlog. As you can imagine, COVID shut things down. So for those 2 years that Carnival didn't cruise and Royal Caribbean, all those guys didn't cruise, they were letting the crew go. They were letting their teams go. So now they haven't really rebuilt their staff and they're behind. I was told they're behind 90 to 120 days with passports. So you may want to get those, if you're going to do it, you may want to get those done as soon as possible. We do ours at the post office, I believe. I believe we do them at the post office, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to have the photograph. Unfortunately, last time we got the photograph, Walgreens was robbing people. It was $15.95 per the little bitty photo to go on the passport. That's what they were charging. So don't know what that is now. Hopefully it's cheaper now. So
Well, we just got ours last week or two, and it is
okay.
still like $15 and 150
Okay.
is outright.
Got it.
What I would say too, family, you can go to USPS.com and you can make an appointment. So you don't have to wait. You can schedule it out or, when you feel like you have more availability. So that might be something to consider.
Yeah, but the birth certificate and again, I recommend the passport. If not, birth certificate with raised seal from your birth state is allowable, and a picture form of ID. So kids that don't have driver's license, their school pictures or whatever they use, ID cards are acceptable. And for those of us, that are drivers or whatever, your driver's license, valid driver's license is acceptable as a third form of identity. Okay.
Do you have a number? Do you have a number of people who signed up to go yet?
Marla.
Sorry. Yes, we do. We have a number that has shown interest. So we had over 40, actually closer to 50 members of the family that said they would want to attend. Now, this is another reason why we're having this call, because Hank can testify, the rooms do sell out. So it's not confirmed until you have booked. So we have to get on the booking process sooner than later. My ask is that everyone books no later than October 1st. And that way you can, make your payments. But when I booked mine a few weeks ago, we only had to pay a $50 deposit per person.
Good.
So it's very affordable, and you have time. You have to have it paid by April.
Good.
Before.
That's good.
Yes,
good deal.
ma'am.
Great.
Or you can do like me. I use the payment plan, so it's usually
There you go.
yeah, it's based off your credit. So usually they give me 24 months to pay with no interest. So you paying the same price, but it's like 20 or 30 a month, which I love. So it's really up to your preference.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Do you
Thank you,
have to
Adrian.
request that, Adrian? Or if somebody wanted that, do they have to ask for
So
something?
when you go on carnival.com, when you checking out, they'll give you all the options, and Affirm is that option. It's called Affirm.
it's called what?
Affirm.
Okay.
Yep. So they'll give you a bunch of options to choose. You can do the deposit like Miss Marla did, or they'll give you other options as well. And then Affirm is one of them.
Okay.
Yep.
Jazz wants y'all to know she's online. She's on speaker. Her email is acting up, but she's here.
Oh, okay.
She want to tell her family hello.
Okay.
You
Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Hey,
Carolyn.
Yeah.
But my email is acting up. I had to do something in 4 hours. It'll be back on.
Yeah, so I got on speakerphone.
Yep. And I also put in information about parking. For those of you that'll be driving, there are several options to park. I don't think we've ever used the terminal, only because there are cheaper and more economical options that are there. And I think I put in 3 or 4 different that are right across the street that you can use in case you don't want to use the terminal. Now, advantage of using the terminal, you're right there. Covered parking, or it may or may not, I don't know about Galveston. Let me take that back. I know, Miami's covered parking, all that kind of stuff, but I don't know, Galveston maybe covered parking, and it may be decks, where you can park your car for the whole 5 days, 6 days, whatever the case is. So those are options. We just chose to park off site, and they have shuttles, some of those places, but you'll have to, we'll talk more about that as we find out more about, people and how they're arriving and things like that. So, but I wanted to throw that out there. We've talked about menu. Well, we didn't talk about menus. There's a variety of places, and I put that in there too, of food places. If anybody says they're hungry, something's wrong with you. If you're saying you can't find something to eat, I'm going to question that. There's a variety of food choices, that are on this cruise. Why am I going dark?
I don't know.
Hang on a second. Let me see what's happening. Let me see if I can come back. I may have to come back in. Hang on just a second. Can you guys still hear me?
we can
Yes.
hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
I can't see you though. Hang on just a second.
We can't see you either, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there. Hang on just a second. I'm gonna get there. Okay, sorry about that.
All right.
There we go.
We can
Better.
see you now.
There we go. Now,
Yep, we can see you.
as you go on larger ships and as you go on newer ships, there are certainly more choices. Of course, this ship has plenty of eating options. Okay, so the thing I tell people all the time, there are so many options. I love Carnival's because I can't eat the meat because pepperoni is spicy. I can't do the pepperoni pizza, but they have a 4-cheese pizza that I just love. I mean, it's one of the best pizzas anywhere as far as I'm concerned. So that's sort of where I hang out late. If I'm going to be out, at night, I'm going to eat some pizza. Carnival just instituted, they brought it back. They used to have a midnight buffet. They don't have the midnight buffets anymore. But what they did, they brought back menu choices at night. So they used to have hot dog. They brought those back. They brought back chicken noodle soup. It's a gamut of things they brought back for the night hours. You'll rarely see me out after midnight, but there are people that hang out 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. They have food there around the clock. Okay, so that's happening. Also, I put information about the beverage packages. Juices in the morning, lemonade, tea, water. Those are beverages that are complimentary through the whole cruise. Okay. There are also 2 packages that they have, one for the adults, one for children. The adult package is called Cheers. That is, and Adrian, help me with this because you're more experienced in this than I am, but it's roughly $60 or so per day per adult. And it's really, really economical because if you enjoy beverages, adult beverages, and sometimes those beverages can run between $10 up to $20 per drink. So if you do the math, $300, $400, whatever it is, $500 per person is not a bad deal. One day you can capture that because they limit you to 15 adult drinks per day. So if you do the math, 15 times 10, 15 times 15, that's $250. So you paid for that in 2 days. You paid for the package in 2 days. Okay, so one option. They have another option for kids. It's called the Bubbles package. That is unlimited soda, or adults. That's unlimited sodas, ice creams, specialty coffees, teas, all that kind of good stuff. So there are 2 programs out there, and I put in information about those. So look that over, and if you have any questions, just let us know. Go ahead, Adrian.
Part of that liquor package, it's not just liquor. So that they cap you at 15 for the liquor, but everything else, so the specialty teas, coffees, energy drinks, there's a bunch of other stuff that's unlimited as well. So if you want milkshakes, all that's unlimited. And those usually can be like $6 to $8 each. So it really does. If you drink liquor or you want any of those, it's really worth it as well.
Right.
And the Bubbles package is just soda, not anything else. So
got it. Good. And another important point. When you look at the cruise itinerary, it says we leave at 3:30, I think on Saturday, and we get back Thursday at 8 a.m. Now, for those of you that haven't cruised, that doesn't mean you're going to get off the ship at 8 a.m. That means they're going to be at the dock at 8 a.m. or no later than 8 a.m. Sometimes they get there at 6:30 in the morning. Sometimes they get there at 8. Now, the process for that is customs. Since we've been out of the U.S. boundaries, we've been sailing to Mexico or where we're going to go. They have to check the ship for any contraband that came on the ship, including stowaways. You'd be surprised. People come on the ship to get away from these countries sometime, okay? So, or to visit relatives or whatever, get a free ride. So, Carnival, again, they're sticklers about certain things. And that's kind of like one of the things that they're sticklers about. So, just we got to make sure that our ducks are in a row and things like that. So, what my point is, if you're flying in, please do not book a flight any earlier than noon. And the reason why, a lot of times we don't get off the cruise ship until 10 a.m., 9:30 or so at the latest. Okay, so by the time you debark the cruise ship, you've hailed a taxi or you've hailed Uber or you've gotten your shuttle van or you got to your car, it's 10 o'clock, 10:30. But once again, that thing called traffic could slow up a cab, could slow up an accident. One accident in Miami, you're done. You're not going anywhere. One accident in Houston, you're not going anywhere. So when that stuff happens, it throws off the flights. And as the last time I checked, flights don't wait on you. Cruise ships don't wait on you. Those people don't wait on you. Okay. Our advice, nothing before noon, your time flying back. Okay. So anything after that would be appropriate because most people can make it, 12:30, 1 o'clock or so, or close to noon. But I wouldn't do anything noon. I would do 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever the case is. Okay. Any questions, Marley? Any more questions?
I'm sorry, y'all. I keep hitting mute. No, no other questions that
Janice has a question.
Okay.
Cousin.
Well, what I said, Cheryl, they can't hear me.
What did you say? Say it again.
I say, do y'all take your own water? The last time I went on one, you had to take your own water.
Can you take your own water?
Oh, a good question. I'm not sure.
Here's the thing about the water. Carnival is a stickler for bottles because you can only, like cans, you can't bring bottled soda. You could bring canned soda. My assumption is going to be no bottles. If it's canned, there are some canned water companies. They will allow cans. They won't
No
allow
bottles.
bottles of any sort. The plastic bottles. You cannot bring plastic bottles on the ship of anything, liquor, wine, whatever. You can't bring plastic bottles on. So if you find
So I
canned
can't
water,
bring
I
my
know there are canned water
mouthwash?
companies. If you find canned water, you can't bring that on.
I can't bring my mouthwash?
Yeah, as long as it's mouthwash, it's fine.
Yeah, I might have 2 or 3 different mouthwashes.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, all
I
takes
can't
like
bring any marijuana, correct?
Cannot bring the marijuana. Not on this trip.
All right.
I wouldn't advise it. You do what you want to, you're grown, but I wouldn't advise it. Trust me. I wouldn't advise it.
Y'all ain't got to worry about that. I'm the police, so I ain't gonna bring
I
that.
understand. So you know. So you know.
Getting kicked off already.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't get kicked off. Don't get kicked off. Right. I was trying to think of anything else. Cabin preference, that's totally up to you. We don't have a preference. We've been on one end of the ship, the other end of the ship, and in the middle of the ship. Sailing in June, waters are normally smooth. Again, I'm not Mother Nature. I don't know what's going to happen. Normally, we have smooth sailings. So to me, it doesn't really matter where you get on the ship. And I know that I checked Marla too a couple of days ago. There are cabins. Trust me, there are cabins available. But again, as the days go and the months go, the cabins do dwindle. So, a word to the wise.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have something to say.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
We have some people on here that haven't been on the Zoom meetings.
Okay.
We have John Wiggins III. I saw Jason on here and Shirley Wiggins. Shirley Vaughn Wiggins.
Okay.
Okay.
Shirley, you still here?
Yes, I am still here.
How are you doing?
I'm great. My
Good.
dad and mom are John and are really an Ernestine. And
Yeah.
my grandmother is Leola Powell Vaughn.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yes.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Good
on
to
both
see you.
sides. Yeah,
Nice
the
to
Weavers
Okay.
and the
Yes.
Powell.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I saw them on here. I said, we need to let them know they're on here because I hadn't seen them on here
Absolutely
before.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who I am, right?
Welcome.
Cheryl Weaver.
Yes, I do know who you are.
I thought you did.
Yeah, and so we thought we would get on here because we are interested. So we wanted to
Great.
get on
Good.
and get the
Good.
buzz and see exactly
Good,
what
good.
it's all about. We have done cruise before.
Okay, great. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are familiar, but we just thought we'd get on here and let you all see us, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody and meeting you.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad because you know the cruise addiction. And I tell people all the time, those that haven't cruised before, the only reason you want to get off is to come home and make another one, book another cruise. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's good.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yep.
Well, welcome. Family, my ask at this point is that, first of all, each of you share what you've heard tonight with maybe your immediate branch of the tree. If you have some cousins that you talk to often, your siblings, so that we can get the word out. We have tried to do communicate mostly through email, but I'm not sure that it's reaching everyone. So if you all can please just make sure your people know, hey, we're doing this, these are the dates, and so forth. I will definitely resend those 3 documents that the Yancey family put together for us. I'll resend those after we conclude the call. And then the next email from that will be with next steps on truly, what to do. So hopefully you all got enough information to kind of answer some questions to make that happen. But did anyone else have questions or comments?
No?
No? Well, I wanted to say thanks
You have anything?
to Hank and his family.
No
Okay.
problem.
Well, yeah, thanks again to Hank family.
Absolutely.
Cruise, so I did definitely feel like they are the experts in this area. But thank y'all for taking time on and for putting all the documents together. And also wanted to just say also to Hank, I'm glad y'all are safe. We were in Florida,
Thank you.
in Miami, coming through. We were on the
Mhm.
way back St. John, but it was a mess. The airport was a mess.
Yeah.
So I can
Oh,
only
absolutely.
imagine.
Yep.
So I'm
Yeah.
glad you guys are safe and didn't get the brunt of the weather. So
Yes.
Yeah, Florida works a little different, of course, than most states because of the hurricane factor. We sometimes you get mandatory evacuate. Hey, you can't stay here. Boom, you got to go. That kind of thing. Thankfully, and thank God, we didn't get that evacuation notice. Now, when we lived in St. Augustine on the other coast, the Atlantic coast of Florida, we did get evacuated once because we were 2 miles from the ocean. And so, the surge was coming and things like that. So we had to evacuate here. But thank God here, we're more west and we're more inland. So we're about 40 minutes, right, Adrian, from the coast or something like that, 45 minutes from the coast. So most of the brunt of that was kept at the coast. So, and unfortunately, Tampa area, for whatever reason, keeps getting hit pretty hard. But this was about 80 miles north of Tampa this time. So Tampa got spared on this one. But normally Tampa gets hit pretty hard when these storms come in. So I'm always praying for my brethren and sister and over in Tampa.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's the governor. It's the governor's fault.
Oh, hey, blame him. Please blame him. I blame him. I blame him. Trust me.
If we base it on governor, Texas is next because ours is
We got some amazing governors, don't we?
You ain't right. You ain't lying.
I
We
got
have
one
one
more.
here in Texas.
I got one more comment.
Okay, Adrian.
Okay, Adrian.
I forgot, since we selling out of Texas for the Cheers package, because of Texas laws,
Right.
the liquor package does not start until 6 a.m. on the second day.
Right. The Texas Blue Law, whatever the case is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
okay, that's good to know. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess if you do any, adult beverages on that day, you'll be paying from out of pocket because your Cheers package won't have kicked in by then. So.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I was just looking over my last notes here, Marlon, to see if I missed anything on this one. I think I covered about everything. Food, we talked about medicine. We talked about getting there. We talked about not missing the ship. We talked about keeping your watch and phone on the Carnival cruise time. We eventually, like Marla said, we'll I don't know who works for who or who does what, but if we got some family members that are in some of these hotel chains, maybe we can get some discounts. We get some room discounts, things like that. So we're always looking out for that kind of thing. Okay.
Yes,
I
please.
think I missed something about the meds, the drugs.
Okay. Go ahead. One.
I'm a transplant recipient, and
right.
so I have a lot of drugs, and I carry all of my drugs in a container because I'm taking them so many times a day.
Right.
Now, bringing my drugs on, do I have to have them in labeled bottles or anything?
Well, now here's what I've and my family's had to do in the past. We brought the prescription bottles with us just in case.
Right.
And sometimes they don't even ask because when you book the cruise, whoever you're talking to, let them know, hey, I'm a transplant patient. I got 30 medications or whatever day I have to take. What's the procedure? And they'll let you know.
Okay.
It won't prohibit you from cruising. Trust me. I mean, it's people. Yeah. We see heart patients, lung patients, kidney patients, all of that. So we see all those patients. They're on their scooters and things, but they're having a good time on the ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Great question.
And if you need scooters and stuff like that, Carnival has a third party that they work with that rents the scooters while you're on the ship. So if you need wheelchair scooters, anything like that, they do have a program for that.
And that can be done when you book, cousin? Or
that can be done when you book.
Okay.
Correct.
Good job.
Because what happens, those wheelchairs and those scooters are wider sometimes than the regular cabin door. So they'll have to put you in an accessible cabin that those scooters can fit through because you can't leave them in the hall.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. I'm getting hyped. I'm telling you, I'm getting hyped.
Yeah. So I looked at the calendar. Actually, Carnival sent an email. It was like 297 days till sell time. So we are counting down officially, guys. And if you have any more questions that you think of after the call concludes, please just email the Weaver family email box.
Right.
On the next step, I will include we created an email just for the cruise participants. Okay, so you'll have that, and that way when you are communicating just for the cruise part, we'll have that in a separate inbox. But I'll include that when we send out the next steps.
Okay.
All right.
All
Okay,
right.
everybody. Well, have a great evening. I think that's it. Hank, again, thank you, and
No
Adrian,
problem.
for y'all's input
Yeah,
on
no problem.
You're
all
welcome.
the family that has
Adrian.
if
You're
y'all will pass
welcome.
the word, let's get this boat as packed as we can with We Pals. It would be amazing to see a lot of us on there. It would be really nice. So
Yeah, we about to
And
turn up.
it's always real good to see families. You know,
Serious.
we see families every time we cruise. We see 50, 60, 100 people, families, you know, just having a great time. So want to do that. We need to do that.
Yeah.
all right.
Adrian,
Yes, Aunt Carolyn.
Come on, girl.
Taylor said to tell you hi. I'm
What's
in her
up,
house.
Taylor?
Hi,
Come in,
Taylor.
Taylor. You know, he said hi, Taylor.
Yeah, they went cruising with us on our last cruise, boy, and we had a blast. We had a blast.
Nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And as of y'all, this, you know, of course, this won't be the last meeting we have, but we wanted to have this now before we got to booking. So as we get, we'll have more conversation about the excursions and all that, those details once we have a solid commitment. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Sounds good.
Okay. Everyone.
All right. Any questions, guys? Let us know.
That's
We'll be
it.
glad to answer them.
Have a good evening and stay safe out there.
Okay.
Take care.
Y'all too.
Bye.
All right.
Bye bye.
Good
See you
night.
guys later.
They going off me.
Bye bye.
Tell